Welcome back, everybody. You're here at Yesteryear TV, and these are the best horror films that scared everyone for the year 2019. We're just about to wrap it up for the 2010s, and this is the last year. This is 2019. We're going to wait a while for the decade of the 2020s, because we're only into 2025. So we're going to let this decade play out before we give you all of the best of horror of 2020s. But I hope you enjoyed it so far. These are the best horror films from the 2010s, and we're now following and finalizing the year 2019. So let's get to it. If you haven't already, click subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm Tony, and we're going to go ahead and give you the best horror films of all time from the year 2019. Let's begin. All right. First up, One Bedroom, 1BR. After moving to Los Angeles, a young woman discovers her seemingly friendly apartment complex is actually home to a dangerous cult. One Bedroom will not disappoint: drama, horror, and thriller. 3 from Hell. After barely surviving prison, the demented Firefly clan go on the run, unleashing a whole new wave of murder, madness, and mayhem. 3 from Hell. 7 Deadly Sins. Before heading off to college, a group of high school seniors throw themselves the best spring break party ever. But when partygoers begin to die, the teenagers must figure out how to survive. 47 Meters Down. 2 sisters vacationing in Mexico are trapped in a shark cage at the bottom of the ocean. With less than an hour of oxygen left and great white sharks circling nearby, they must fight for survival. After Midnight. When his girlfriend suddenly disappears, leaving a cryptic note as her only explanation, Hank's comfortable life and his sanity begin to crack. Drama, horror, romance, and sci-fi. After Midnight. Among the Shadows. A private investigator must unravel the murder of her uncle while keeping the secret that she is a descendant from a line of werewolves. Crime, drama, horror, mystery, and thriller. Annabelle. We love Annabelle. Annabelle Comes Home. While babysitting the daughter of Ed and Lorraine Warren, a teenager and her friend unknowingly awaken an evil spirit trapped in a doll. We love Annabelle Comes Home. We love her. Aquaslash. Thrills, chills, and screwball comedy meet tiny bikinis and gory dismemberment in this chlorine and blood-drenched murder mystery. Aquaslash. Assimilate. 3 friends making a web series about their town discover that their neighbors are being killed and replaced by creatures who are perfect copies of their victims. Assimilate. Horror, sci-fi, and thriller. Black Christmas. Why gotta be black? A group of female students is stalked by a stranger during their Christmas break. That is until the young sorority pledges discover that the killer is part of an underground college conspiracy. Blood Vessel. Lifeboat survivors board a German boat that's crawling with vampires during World War II. I love this movie. Blood Vessel. Fantasy and horror. Brightburn. An alien that looks like a human boy uses its powers in sinister and destructive ways. Drama, horror, mystery, and sci-fi. Brightburn. Child's Play. We love Chucky. A mother gives her 13-year-old son a toy doll for his birthday, unaware of its more sinister nature. Now I remember when you're 13, you're in 7th or 8th grade. You're not playing with no dolls. Color Out of Space. A secluded farm is struck by a strange meteorite, which has apocalyptic consequences for the family living there and possibly the world. Color Out of Space. Countdown. When a nurse downloads an app that claims to predict the moment a person will die, it tells her she only has 3 days to live. With the clock ticking and a figure haunting her, She must find the solution. I love Countdown. Crawl. Gigantic alligators swarm around a young woman and her father as floodwaters engulf their home. Crawl. I remember seeing this on cable TV. It was good. It was good. Suspenseful. Daniel isn't real. A troubled college freshman, Luke, suffers a violent family trauma. He then resurrects his charismatic childhood imaginary friend Daniel to help him cope. But Daniel isn't real. Dr. Sleep. Years following the events of The Shining, and now adult Dan Torrance must protect a young girl with similar powers from a cult known as the True Knot. Dark fantasy psychological horror. Do Not Reply. Chelsea, a teenager, is abducted through a social media app by Brad and is held captive with other girls who are to become victim in his virtually reality-filmed murders. Do Not Reply. Horror and thriller. Don't Let Go. Detective Jack Radcliffe and his recently murdered niece race against time to solve the crime before it happens. Don't Let Go. Suspense, drama, and horror. Doom. Annihilation. A group of UAC Marines respond to a distress call from a top-secret scientific base on Phobos, a moon around Mars. B action, B horror, B thriller. Doom. Annihilation. Eli. A boy receiving treatment for his autoimmune disorder discovers that the house he's living in isn't as safe as he thought. Medical drama, supernatural horror, terror, and thriller. Eli. Escape Room. 6 strangers find themselves in a maze of deadly mystery rooms and must use their wits to survive. B action, B horror, psychological horror, and thriller. Funhouse. When 8 celebrities from around the globe are invited to compete in an online reality show, they soon realize that they are playing for their very lives. Those voted off suffer horrific consequences. Glass. I love this movie. It's kind of creepy. Security guard David Dunn uses his supernatural abilities to track Kevin Wendell Crumb, a disturbed man who has 24 personalities. Glass. We love Glass. I love this movie too. Happy Death Day to You. Tree Gelman discovers that dying over and over was surprisingly easier than the dangers that lie ahead. Happy Death Day to You. I love it. Harpoon. Rivalries, dark secrets, and sexual tension emerge when 3 best friends find themselves stranded on a yacht in the middle of the ocean, desperate for survival. That's how they go on those ships. Anyone at any time can push you overboard and you'll never be found again. Haunt. I just saw this last week. On Halloween, a group of friends encounter an extreme haunted house that promises to feed on their darkest fears. Slasher horror. This movie is good. It's gory, kind of cheesy, but it's good. Hell House LLC 3. Lake of Fire. The Abaddon Hotel will once again be open to the public. Russell has taken his audience interactive show Insomnia into the abandoned hotel that is rumored to be haunted. Hellboy. Caught between the worlds of the supernatural and human, Hellboy battles an ancient sorceress bent on revenge. We love Hellboy and all his escapades. I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu, or Deja Vu. Cinema's top lethal lady, Vengeance, returns in the most anticipated sequel of all time. Splatter horror, horror and thriller. Lots of blood in this movie. In the Tall Grass. After hearing a young boy's cry for help, a sister and brother venture into a vast field of tall grass in Oklahoma, but soon discover there may be no way out. Folk horror, horror, mystery, thriller, and sci-fi. It, Chapter 2. 27 years after their first encounter with the terrifying Pennywise, the Losers Club have grown up and moved away until a devastating phone call brings them all back. It, Chapter 2 is good. Jacob's Ladder. After his brother returns home from war, Jacob Singer struggles to maintain his sanity, plagued by hallucinations and flashbacks. Jacob's Ladder. Next up we have is La Llorona. An aging paranoid war criminal protected by his faithful wife faces death while being haunted by the ghosts of his past. Folk horror, crime, drama, horror, and thriller. La Llorona. Little Monsters. A washed-up musician teams up with a teacher and a kid show personally to protect young children from a sudden outbreak of zombies. We love zombie horror. Little Monsters. Ma. A lonely woman befriends a group of teenagers and decides to let them party at her house. Just when the kids think their luck couldn't get any better, things start happening to make them think twice. This is creepy and corny and evil. Mermaid Down. A mermaid is ripped from the Pacific. Her tail is chopped off as she's thrown into a mental home where no one believes she is a mermaid. Mermaid Down. Body horror. Gore. Midsummer. A couple travels to Northern Europe to visit a rural hometown's fabled Swedish Midsummer Festival. What begins as an idyllic retreat quickly develops into an increasingly violent and bizarre terror. A Night of Horror, Nightmare Radio. Rod, a radio DJ, hosts a popular horror-themed show packed with tales of terror for eager listeners. When he receives alarming calls from a horrified child, things start to feel off. Outback. Down under for an adventure-filled vacation, a young American couple quickly find themselves stranded in the unforgiving Australian outback. That's why I don't go to no desert, get your car stuck, and you don't know what's out there. Sorry, I don't do that. Pet Sematary, the remake. Dr. Louis Creed and his wife, Rachel, relocate from Boston to rural Maine with their 2 young children. The couple soon discover a mysterious burial ground hidden deep in the woods near their home. Prey. A young man must survive an island retreat while a sinister force hunts him, leaving bodies in its wake. Prey. Adventure, horror, mystery, and thriller. Rabid. The Quiet Rose works in women's fashion clothing, hoping to be a designer. A traffic accident damages her face. She gets experimental stem cell treatment, leaving her stronger and prettier than ever. Rabid. But for a consequence. Ready or not, here I come. A bride's wedding night takes a sinister turn when her eccentric new-in-laws force her to take part in a terrifying game. Ready or not. Saint Maud. A pious nurse becomes dangerously obsessed with saving the soul of her dying patient. Saint Maud. Folk horror, psychological drama, and psychological horror. Next up we have is Satanic Panic. A pizza delivery girl at the end of her financial rope has to fight for her life and her tips, when her last order of the night turned out to be high society Satanists in need of a virgin. Satanic Panic. Scary stories and tell them in the dark. Pennsylvania in 1968. After playing a joke on a school bully, Stella and her friends decide to sneak into a haunted house that once belonged to the powerful Bellows family. Body horror, folk horror. Sea Fever. The crew of a West of Ireland trawler, marooned at sea, struggle for their lives against a growing parasite in their water supply. Sea fever. I guess it gives you fever if you drink the water. Shed of the Dead. A nerd spends his time at an allotment shed away from his wife. When the zombie apocalypse begins, he and his nerdy friend try to make it through and save the wife and her cute friend. Slasher Party. A group of social media influencers go to an after party in a Hollywood Hills mansion, only to find themselves the target of a ruthless mass killer. I love it. Slasher Party. Sweetheart. A woman washes ashore a small uninhabited island after an accident. The situation turns from bad to worse when she realizes there is a mysterious creature hunting all night. Sweetheart. Synchronic. Two New Orleans paramedics' lives are ripped apart after they encounter a series of horrific deaths linked to a designer drug with bizarre, otherworldly effects. Synchronic. The Dare. A rare family night for Jay takes a brutal twist when he awakens in a basement with 3 other prisoners. The Dare. The Furies. A woman is kidnapped and finds herself an unwilling participant in a deadly game where women are hunted by masked men. The Furies. Jack in the Box. I love this movie. I love all the sequels. When a vintage Jack in the Box is found and opened, its new owners soon have reasons to believe the creepy clown doll within it has a life of its own. Maybe you should get a life of its own before it's too late. The Lurker. A group of theater students celebrating their final show begin to slowly disappear one at a time. No, it goes like, maybe you should get a life of your own before it's too late. The Prodigy. A mother concerned about her young son's disturbing behavior thinks something supernatural may be affecting him. The Prodigy. The Addams Family. The Addams Family face off against a crafty reality TV host while also preparing for their extended family to arrive for a major celebration. Computer animation, dark horror, dark comedy. The Beach House. A romantic getaway for 2 troubled college sweethearts turns into a struggle for survival, with unexpected guests and the surrounding environment exhibit signs of a mysterious infection. The Beach House. The Curse of La Llorona. Ignoring the eerie warning of a troubled mother suspected of child endangerment, a social worker and her own small kids are soon drawn into a frightening supernatural realm. The Curse of La Llorona. The Dead Don't Die. I just saw this about 7 months ago. It's pretty good. The focus is on the sleepy small town of Centerville, where the dead become undead. So if you like zombies, you'll like this movie, especially Bill Murray. The Haunting of Sharon Tate. Pregnant with director Roman Polanski's child and awaiting his return from Europe, 26-year-old Hollywood actress Sharon Tate becomes plagued by visions of her imminent death. How sad. The Hole in the Ground. A single mother living in Irish countryside with her son begins to suspect he may not be her son at all, and fears his increasingly disturbing behavior is evil. Knock it off, evil. The Intruder. A young married couple buy a beautiful house on several acres of land, only to find out that the man they bought it from refuses to let go of the property. So legally he shouldn't be on the property. Evict his ass or arrest his ass. The Lodge. A soon-to-be stepmom is snowed in with her fiancé's 2 children at a remote holiday village. Just as relations begin to thaw between the trio, some strange and frightening events take place. The Mortuary Collection. An eccentric mortician recounts several macabre and phantasmagorical tales that he's encountered in his distinguished career. Body horror, dark fantasy, and horror. The Other Lamb. A girl born into an all-female cult led by a man in their compound begins to question his teachings and her own reality. The Other Lamb. Next up we have is, The Platform. In a prison where inmates are fed on a descending platform, those on the upper levels take more than their fair share, while those below are left to starve on scraps. So soon, people are going to start killing people. The Room. Matt and Kate buy an isolated house. While moving, they discover a strange room that grants them an unlimited number of material wishes. The Room. This is fun. Creepy and fun. The Shed. A hunter gets bitten by a vampire and runs into a shed to avoid sunlight. Stan, a 17-year-old on probation, and his supervisor grandpa live next to it. The Shed. How creepy. Look at the blood. The Silence. When the world is under attack from terrifying creatures who hunt their human prey by sound, 16-year-old Allie Andrews, who lost her hearing at 13, and her family seek refuge. The Silence. The Soul Collector. An old man, fated to collect souls for eternity, seek atonement after trading his daughter's soul. The Soul Collector. Never give up your soul because you'll be in hell. The Wretched. A defiant teenage boy struggling with his parents' imminent divorce faces off with a 1,000-year-old witch who is living beneath the skin and posing as the woman next door. So it's an evil witch. How creepy. The Cleansing Hour. Another successful exorcism streamed online, or so it seems. Can the Exorcist producer and their team bring the ratings up? Ratings skyrocket? The Cleansing Hour. The Gallows. Act 2. I love the movie The Gallows. When Anna Rue transfers to a prestigious new acting school, she encounters a malevolent spirit after participating in a viral challenge. I love The Gallows, and now The Gallows Act 2. Unknown Visitor. After moving into a house, a young woman experiences a terrifying series of encounters with something evil. Knock it off, evil. Remember? Evil. Us. In order to get away from their busy lives, the Wilson family take a vacation to Santa Cruz, California. At night, 4 strangers break into Adelaide's childhood home, where the nightmare begins. Velvet Buzzsaw. A thriller about the contemporary art scene of Los Angeles, where big money artists and mega collectors pay a high price when art collides with commerce. Vivarium. A young couple looking for the perfect home find themselves trapped in a mysterious labyrinth-like neighborhood of identical houses. Vivarium. Suspense, mystery, and horror. We Summon the Darkness. 3 best friends embark on a road trip to a heavy metal show, where they bond with 3 aspiring musicians and head off to one of the girls' country home for an after party. Wounds. Disturbing and mysterious things begin to happen to a bartender in New Orleans after he picks up a phone left behind his bar. Wounds. Zombie Trail. A fisherman contends with an ocean-borne outbreak that threatens his seaside island community. Zombie Tidal Wave. You like zombies? You'll love Zombie Tidal Wave. And lastly, we're into our last film of 2019, Zombieland Double Tap Road Trip. The 3 movies for Zombieland are pretty good. I believe the first 2 have Woody Harrelson. This one does not. Zombieland Double Tap is ridiculously fun, top-down twin-stick shooter featuring a local cop and multiple players that kill zombies. Those are the best horror films of the year 2019. The scariest horror films that were released in 2019. Mind you, this is well before COVID, which happened in 2020. But nonetheless, 2019 was the last year you can go into movie theaters, if you were lucky enough, without a mask. Because for the next 2-3 years, in 2020, 21, 22, the whole country was wearing masks. So the movie productions and releases were a lot slowed down or pushed back a year or 2 until the crowds could start entering the movies. But what do you think about the best horror films of 2019? What horror movies do you remember from 2019? I have a lot of these movies in my private catalog, library, but some of these movies I finally got to watch, streaming, download, pay-per-view, whatnot. So those were the best horror, best scary films for the year 2019. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, leave them below. I'm Tony. You're here at Yesteryear TV. Thank you all, and stay tuned for more videos.